Elvin, thank you so much for jumping on the AIM podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, my guy.
Man, I'm pumped about this conversation, dude. Getting to hoop with you out in LA a few months ago, man, was super fun. I loved your energy. Obviously, I have a ton of respect for your game and what you can do on the court, but love what you're doing off the court and helping so many people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I love doing it. It's definitely a passion of mine, trying to put smiles on people's faces for sure.
Yeah, and it's cool you're getting to do that through the game of basketball, which I'm sure means even more to you because you love the game.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Let's go, man. Well, sweet, dude. You've been extremely successful, man, in everything you've been doing lately with the movie. Obviously, a lot of people saw that movie, which was great. You killed it, and then obviously all the cool things you're doing in the league, the nonprofit work, everything, man. But before we even dive into those things, which we'll definitely touch on, I would love to even just hear your story of getting into the game of basketball and like how you even got around the game.
Yep, absolutely. So it all started around the age of 5. I would always get dropped off at my grandparents' house, and my great grandfather was like my best friend. I would always beg him, like, hey, bro, can you like take me to the park? And he was always down. He's an old man in a wheelchair. I would push him and he would just like supervise me and like rebound for me. Yeah, and like I don't know, just being consistent with him and him being consistent with me and taking me to the park. I mean, I fell in love with the game of basketball, and I wasn't that good in the beginning. I got cut a couple times from the team. It was kind of embarrassing because the coach would announce who would make the team through the speakerphone. So when I didn't get my name called, I was a little embarrassed, but it's all right. I mean, I grew into the game. I fell in love with just like the work ethic, waking up early, just setting a routine at a young age, just me naturally just having love for the game. And as I grew older, um, I kind of like just continue to go with that vision and kind of led me to where I am now.
That's so cool, man. And you grew up in New York City?
New York City. Yep, I was born and raised in New York City. I was there since about the age of 15, and I was like, man, I need a Division I scholarship. So I then went to a private institution in Connecticut where I was receiving a bunch of D3 like offers and stuff like that, and I was like, I know I could do better because it was really an academic school versus just like a sports slash academics.
Yeah.
So I figured I would leave again and ended up going to school in North Carolina, where I then started picking up Division I offers. And first person to actually offer me was Ronnie Billups, head coach of the University of Denver, but now he's also the assistant coach for the Portland Trailblazers.
That's so cool. What school did you go to in North Carolina?
I went to Forest Trails Academy. It's closed now, but it was one of the top like boarding schools in the country.
Yeah. Dude, that's
Yep.
so I live in North Carolina. I don't think
Nice.
we talked about that when we played. That's sick. I didn't know you
Yeah,
went to school in North Carolina
I
for
was
long.
I was in Kernersville.
Okay.
Yep.
It's kind of small, but that's cool.
Yeah, super small, but it worked out, man. It definitely worked out. It got me in the door, and it was exciting, man.
I love
Yep.
that, man. Okay. So you get this offer to go to Denver. That's where you
Yep.
ended up committing.
Hmm.
You take your talents from New York City to Denver, Colorado. What was that transition like from growing up in one of the biggest cities in the country to being in Colorado?
It was two different worlds. I mean, like if you eye somebody in New York City, like you make eye contact with somebody in New York City, they'll give you like a stink look, like, hey, why are you looking at me? But if you eye somebody in Colorado, they'll smile at you and probably give you a compliment. So I was just like, let's go. I love the energy. Like this is my energy. And it was two different worlds. One thing I say about Colorado, the weather's kind of bipolar because one day it's hot, the next day it's just snowing. I'm just like, wow. But it was definitely a good transition. Love my teammates at the time, love my head coach. He opened up that door for me and gave me access to a whole new world of basketball. So I was very appreciative for that.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
I actually got to spend some time in Denver a few months ago, and I enjoyed it, man. Obviously, I think during the winters probably when things get a little hectic, but
Hmm.
the weather was great while we were there. I know they get a lot of snow though in the winter
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
during
Definitely.
basketball season. I'm sure you guys would get hit with it like crazy.
Wild. I'm wild. I'm glad to be in LA now.
Yeah, very cool,
Yep.
man. And then while you were playing there, how did I mean? when you, I guess, let me back up a little bit. When you went
Yeah,
there, did you have the intention of like making this your focus? Like, I'm going here, obviously, to get an
mhm,
education, of course, but really
yeah.
to play basketball and see how far this game could take me? Like, what were kind of the thoughts going through your mind as you made this commitment?
So when I made that commitment, I was young. I was 17 at the time, and I was still 17 my freshman year of college, going into college.
Wow.
Um, I kind of made like a fast commitment. I was being seen by like schools like Providence, NC State as well. But I figured like since this was my like first offer, I'm gonna just go for it. Like they gave me the opportunity first, I'm gonna automatically just commit. Um, and yeah, just like that whole transition. When I got to campus, I'm like, you know what? Like, I really want to try to make it to the league. You know, I wasn't thinking about acting or anything. It was just like, I got to make it to the league now. You know, I made it Division 1. Now I got to try to make it to the NBA. But you know, like I wasn't getting the right minutes, which is okay. You know, I was young. I still needed like some developing to do and just learn certain fundamentals of the game. Um, and like, you know, my sophomore year, I kind of got better and figured that I could try to do better. So I tried, you know, I then transferred to a school in Texas, was averaging like 12 a game. And, you know, certain things happened there with like the coaching staff and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this one more try. Ended up transferring one more time to the University of Oklahoma Science and Arts, where I'm a two-time SAC champion. So
Let's
it
go.
was just like, yeah, it was a wild journey, but you know, I could say I got a chip in college. So
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, not a lot of people can say that, and
yeah.
that's a big accomplishment no matter, what school, what division, what league.
Mhm.
Like to win a championship takes a lot, and it's no easy feat. So that's huge.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, and I think there's a bigger like because I certainly kind of went through similar things. That transition from high school to college, playing at that level, there's a lot to learn. Obviously, just about the whole experience of being a college athlete and being in college and the pressures, the social pressures, the academic pressures, and like there's so much more. There's so much more time you're putting into it. Your coaches demand so
Mhm.
much more from you. But I think the cool thing that you touched on, and I would love to hear more, is like you get somewhere and maybe you're not, the top dog, or you're kind of starting back at the bottom and you kind of have to build your
Mhm.
way up through your career. I feel like that's something that anyone listening to this can apply to whatever they're doing, whether it be
Absolutely,
acting, whether it be business, whether it be fitness, whatever. It takes time. You just have to be consistent with that, but you have to go
absolutely.
into it knowing that like it is a process. Like, how did you kind of deal with that mentally?
You know, mentally, it was a little bit at first draining. It was sad. Like I just like I got into, you know, this headspace where I was just like, well, am I even that good? You know, I started to question myself. But in reality, as I grew older, I started to realize like, no, it was potential. It's definitely potential. It's just certain things that you just have to develop as a player. You know, it's never really your fault. You know, more so it's just sometimes you may have to see, are you in the right system? You know, but what you do through that is you continue to work through it. You know, because sometimes you're not even the problem; it's just the system. You know, and the way you get through that is to continue to get better and just continue to work, put in the effort, and still believing in yourself. You know, because at the end of the day, like when nobody believes in you, as long as you believe in yourself, that's the biggest thing.
Mm,
You know, because now when you make it somewhere, you achieve something, that's when everybody's gonna come in and clap for you. You know, so it's just like just believe in yourself. You know, in those moments, in those times, and continue to work for sure.
I love that, dude. Yeah, I agree. I think that's the separating factor. It's like, do you have enough self-confidence and belief in yourself when no one else does to make
Mhm.
it? So then when everyone else does, you're already going in the right direction. And I think that's what
Exactly,
separates people. It's like, do you have that? It's a yes or no, and it's got to come from within, and it's got to be a decision you make to just be like, look, I don't I don't need certain things. Like it really just you have what you need, and that's your mind and that's your heart, and that's you just got to believe it.
exactly, exactly. 100%. I agree. It's literally you. It's you versus you at the end of the day. You know, only you could stop yourself. You know, I don't. The way I look at it, you know, if a coach is critiquing you, it's always good to listen too, because you can learn from that. You know, like my coach would kind of like tell me certain areas where I need to get better at, and I believed him because he opened up the opportunity for me to even be in that position. So I looked at it, you know, I was grateful for it. So I always knew I could do better, and I always try to look for better. for sure. So
That's good, dude. I love
yeah,
that. So you had a great time playing college basketball. You got your championship, and
yep,
then
yep,
after that, you have the opportunity to play professional basketball. What
yep,
was that
yep.
experience like, and how did you kind of get that opportunity?
That was wild. So I was literally in my college dorm, and I get this like random call from a team in the Dominican Republic. They're like, "Yo, we love you, and we need you to come out here." And everything is just happening so fast. I'm just like, "Are you guys serious right now?" They're like, "Yeah." I said, "You know what? I'm gonna leave college early." So I left college early. I went to go play pro, and I actually did really well. I was averaging like 10 points a game, like 4 assists. Little rookie year.
Yeah.
I ended up getting drafted to the LMB, which is the League National Basketball. It's like the NBA of the Dominican Republic. And then during that time, I also got offered the movie role. So I had to fly back home. I flew back home, and this was during the pandemic. This is when the pandemic hit. I was like, dang, like I might have made the biggest mistake of my life.
Going back home or what?
Yeah, going back home because it was the pandemic, but
Yeah.
it really hadn't hit the Dominican Republic yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when I'm home, literally, New York is on complete lockdown. I'm just like, oh my God, here we go. I'm like, there's always something. This is always something. Like life is just like a movie, honestly. So on the news, they were saying like, oh, if you leave your house after a certain time, like you will get arrested. And I'm just like, oh my God, I gotta play basketball. They were taking out all the rims in New York City.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? I gotta find a rim. I gotta find a rim. If I'm gonna get locked up for playing basketball, whatever. At this point, you know what I'm saying? The world is shut down. Like it is what it is. So I find this one rim, and as I'm climbing this gate, this guy goes, "Hey, Elvin, Elvin," and I turn around. I'm like, "Oh, damn, it's an undercover cop," but it wasn't. It wasn't an undercover cop. It was just this guy that knew me from a basketball tournament called Dykeman, like one of the biggest street ball tournaments in New York City. And he was like, "Hey, bro, Adam Sandler, Queen Latifah, they looking for a Spanish basketball player." And I'm like, this guy's a joke. Like, who is this man? I'm like, who in the world sent this man like to me? I gave him the time and to listen, and he actually ended up being right. They were actually looking for a Spanish basketball player. I never acted in my life before, but
Wow.
I submitted my name, ended up getting a callback. You know, it's wild because I think I did get like the main role. The problem was I'm not 6'8", unfortunately, but it and I ended up getting like a cool role, like the turning point in the movie. So that was a blessing.
Man, that is so cool. So when this guy approached you, I mean, you had no idea, like you didn't know this
No
guy.
idea.
You thought he was messing with you, like you thought this was a joke or something.
Yeah, I'm just like, who in the world could possibly be like trying to do the same thing I'm doing right now? Like at this very moment, it was completely odd. Like the streets were cleared, and this man, it's like it was like an angel sent. Like I was like, wow.
That is so cool. So what?
Like,
So you apply for the role, or how did that process work, and how long did you have to kind of wait to hear back?
honestly, it took about 9 months to hear back.
Wow.
Yep, and this is during the pandemic, so we're just locked in the house. I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like I'm just so confused. I'm, with my family. That's a good thing. I was with my family during that time, and I didn't know what to expect. And 9 months later, I received this email like, "Yo, you about to hop on a plane to Mallorca, Spain." I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like that was my callback. Yeah, they were basically saying I'm gonna hop on a plane back to Mallorca, Spain, and we actually flew out there.
To
And
Spain?
yes, sir.
What? That's
Yep.
crazy. That's
And
so. This whole 9 month period, you're at home. Obviously, everyone's kind of shut down with COVID, and you're just trying to figure your life out. You're probably thinking, I want to go back to playing overseas. And then all of a sudden you get email saying you're getting on a plane to go to Spain for a callback.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was the wildest thing ever. And like Adam Sandler, he wanted to keep it extremely like authentic. Like
Yeah.
everything in the movie was like super authentic. And that scene where like he discovers the main character was in Spain, real Spaniard people. It was like the
Wow.
craziest thing ever. Yeah.
So what was that?
Yep.
You get on the plane, you head to Spain. What was the callback like? Like how was that?
It was, I'm not gonna lie to you, I broke down crying because my parents didn't believe me at first. Like my mom was looking at me like I was like, well, you about to be in a what with who? There's no way, whatever. So I'm on a plane, and as I'm on this plane, it's like first class and everything. I got like a bed in the front. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like they're giving me food and stuff like that. I'm like, this is crazy. So this is what this feels like. And yeah, I'm just there, just like, wow. We get, finally get to Mallorca. I'm looking around. I'm like, there's just no way. Me and the Met casually, like the second day I get there, we meet the King of Spain.
Dang.
And I'm just like, hi, like how's it going? I'm Elvin, and me and my buddy who was the double for the main character. He got to experience this entire journey with me. So it was wild. It was super wild.
That is cool, bro. So, wow, that's sick. How long were you in Spain for that trip?
A month.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you got the call back, and then I guess you got the role, and so you just stayed there
Hmm.
for the filming and everything,
Yep.
and they
Same for
sent
the
the
film.
rest of the people back.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So you went there. Did you know you were going to be there for a month, or was it just like I'm just gonna
They
go?
kind of prepared me because they told the people, I guess they had told the people that didn't get the role already beforehand, before they got on the plane
Mm.
to go to. So I kind of like knew I was already gonna get the role, which was wild. And yeah, once we got out there, we started rehearsing and got right to it. I was just like, this is all happening. Like this is real. And it all hit me when I seen Adam Sandler getting out of this black Range Rover and these like big shorts and this big T-shirt. And I'm like, yep, that's Sandman right there. And we our first conversation was about C4. Cause he had asked me, he's like, dude, what are you off C4 or something? Where you jumping like this? Like, I'm a he couldn't believe it. He's like, dude, I remember the first time I had C4, my face was itchy. I'm like, yeah, bro, it kind of makes me itch too. He's like, off crack or something. Like it was the funniest thing ever. Like he's such a humble guy, like easy going, and yeah.
That's so cool, man. Did you form pretty good relationships with other members of the cast as well, just being on set,
Absolutely.
kind of being around everyone?
Absolutely. The director, Jeremiah Zagar, my acting coach Noelle, she was amazing. She got me through the process, like, you know, just getting into character. The main character, Juancho Hernan Gomez, who now currently plays for the Trailblazers.
Mhm.
So
That's
yep, so it's wild.
that is awesome, man. So once you got through that, that movie, filming and everything, did that kind
Mhm.
of set like a fire under you to want to do? Obviously, you're looking to pursue more opportunities and
Yeah,
act more.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's like the goal now. I've been trying to achieve like now next step is probably finding like a good agent that could just, give me the casting calls. Cause I mean I feel like it's a pretty good like pretty good credit to have as a resume. So hopefully it opens up some more doors for sure.
Man, that's awesome.
Yep.
I want to also talk about what you're doing in addition to all the acting, which I think is incredible and it's so cool because
Yes,
I'm
sir.
glad to see where you keep doing that. But you're still playing like every day. You're hooping. You're
Yep.
playing leagues. You're doing stuff with nonprofits. Like I would love to hear more about that side of your life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I currently help as a talent slash social media manager for the Who Bus, which is a nonprofit. It's a bus with two rims on each side of the bus, and we basically activate and bring communities together through the game of basketball. So this is something I've always loved to do. I've always loved being part of a community, seeing kids smile, and um, that's something I do, and it's something that I'm very passionate about because like it's the impact you leave with the game of basketball. Like versus like being your average professional player, like they as a professional, you don't really get enough time to like, go into these communities and impact and just spend time with people who
Yeah.
who need the time from guys like, influencers, guys like myself, or anybody who does something in this world, or who could impact, who could really make an impact. So I do that on the side. I'm also talent for the Venice Ball League out here. It's a league held in the summertime and pretty much year round. We We've been to different places. We just recently activated in Tijuana, which we played in front of a 5,000 people arenas, like 5,000 people in this arena. We kind of like beat the professional team, which was wild.
That's so cool.
And yeah, and just we built a court out there and in a place where like nobody ever hooped out there. So once we built the court, like you saw how many, it was a lot of people starting like walking the court. It was amazing. Like so,
That's
yeah,
all.
I'm doing that on the side right now.
That's on the side. Yeah, that's sick. Sounds like
Yeah.
that's a big deal, dude. I mean, I think, man, you touched on it, and I think this is what I enjoyed most about the game was it wasn't scoring, it wasn't how many points or rebounds or stats or anything like that.
Mhm.
Even wins and losses to an extent, I was competitive, but it was about the like what the game did and like the relationships and how it brought people together. And honestly, for me growing up, it was an outlet. It was like you were saying, like these kids, they need something to like maybe get out of the situation they're in or just to have like some like joy during the day. And so that's so cool that you're able to kind of come full circle and be
Yeah,
that at one point and now give back to those kids in the position you're in.
absolutely, absolutely. I feel like the more impact you leave, the better people remember. You as a person, just that, and just you leave a good memory in their head. So that's amazing, especially we live in a fast paced like generation where everything's just fast, fast, and if you could do spend time with somebody, I'm pretty sure they're gonna remember that.
Yeah. That's
So,
good, dude. I didn't
yep,
I didn't get that when I was younger. I didn't understand that. Like I thought basketball was everything. It was like my identity, honestly, for a long time in my life. And
yep,
then as I kind of made a transition to doing what I'm doing now, it's more about it's not it doesn't matter what you do. It matters why you
mhm,
do it and who you do it.
right,
And it's like if you can serve people and really make an impact, like you're saying, build a legacy through what you enjoy doing through your passion, that's I think winning. And that's what a lot of people I'm sure trying to figure out how to do.
absolutely, yes, sir.
So that's cool, man. So what does your like day to day look like now? Obviously, I know things I'm sure are different every day, but I'm curious kind of what your daily structure looks like with all this going on.
So I wake up at 7 a.m. I go get in a good workout. Then after the workout, get in some good food, and I work on content for both Hoop Bus and Venice Ball, and also myself because it's like I'm a brand as well. So it's just like
For sure.
just being able to keep that up, and then also like setting up dates where we're gonna activate. Like we're gonna do All Star Weekend as well. We're gonna activate for All Star Weekend, and we're actually doing a toy drive here soon in LA, where we're gonna be giving away 5,000 like toys away to the kids and just through the game of basketball. And yeah, just pretty much that. And then in the afternoon, I go hoop again and redo it all over again next day. So doing that about five days in a row, and then the weekends I'm probably playing some tournament in LA, like or I'm also filming because like right now it's just like freelance, so it's pretty cool. I can
Yeah.
work from my phone and um yeah, so I just try to do like extra casting calls for like Bel Air or something like that in the meantime to keep me busy. But yeah, it's pretty much what I'm doing on the side right now.
Dude, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
man.
Do you have any big dreams or like aspirations of where you want your career to go, either in
Yeah.
basketball or acting or both?
Yeah, yeah. So like the goal, I would hope I could get into like a TV series, where like I'm a regular actor in the TV series. That's one of my goals, or like for like Netflix or something. With basketball, I would like love to play professional if I can, whichever comes first. Like I know acting is always gonna be there. I know, basketball, but the game never stops. You can be old and still play, but I figure like while I'm young, I can continue to play pro.
Yep.
So that's probably gonna be my next step. If this TV show series stuff doesn't kick off early, but yeah, it's in the works.
I love that, dude. I know you're gonna get there, man. You're gonna keep doing it, keep helping people, and your energy, dude, is infectious, dude. Like that alone, I think, is just such a bright light to so many people, man. So I'm
Thank
I'm
you.
pumped, I'm pumped to see all you continue to accomplish.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, dude. This has been a really fun episode, man, and I'm super glad we got to connect and knock this out and just have a good time talking about it. But dude, again, congrats on everything you're doing, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, for sure.
Let's go.